Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Say it ain't so. Caroline Dubois, Claressa Shields have teamed up. Batman and Robin, Cagney and Lacey, peanut butter and jelly. All bad, folks. Anyway, check this out right here. This is Caroline Dubois making a comment about Alycia Baumgardner saying this.
Who I do want is Amanda Serrano. Who I do want is Katie Taylor. I've been calling these girls out. When I do decide to move to 135, then that fight for Dubois is potentially there. But she's way down the line. Who I do want is Amanda Serrano. Who I do want is Katie Taylor. I've been calling these girls out. I've been saying I want these fights because these are big fights. These are main event fights. Dubois, she got to keep doing what she's doing. Go put some skin in the game, like I've been saying. Focus on what's important. The main thing is Amanda or Katie, and I've been very vocal about that.
It's like, who is the face of the MVP banner when it comes to women's boxing? Is it Alycia? Is it Amanda? I just think that that's a fight that should happen. Do you think that's a fight that happens this year, or is it next year we got to wait for that?
I would say it would happen this year. Listen, I've already been very vocal. I've been able to let, even talking to Amanda, this is the thing about women being a girl's girl and being able to talk to your counterpart. Even though we may fight, it's a respect thing at the end of the day. And I let her know, hey, I'd love to fight. I think you and I would be a main event fight in New York City, another sold out crowd. We are two great, skillful fighters, and she agrees. So everything comes down to negotiations.
Okay, Caroline Dubois wasn't trying to hear all that. You know what I'm saying? She's like, and that's the Brian Custer Last Stand podcast. Y'all go watch the whole interview. But this right here, Dubois is like, yo, this fake coward, absolute joke, called out and offered a super featherweight for a fight. That's who this clown wanted to fight. Miss Scary Ass says she'll move up to fight Shields at 147, Katie Taylor at 140. So Caroline Dubois ain't trying to hear none of it. But this is where things get a little bit hairy for Hood Champion. Right here, where is it? I'm going to show you where it gets a little bit hairy. Right here. Look at what you got here. Claressa. I'm so used to saying Alycia. Claressa, Shields. Hey, Alycia, since you most the skilled, what? Since you are the most skilled, Lord have mercy, I didn't know she wrote that shit like that. Okay, I'm going to read it the way she wrote it. Hey, Alycia Baum, since you most the skilled, stop ducking Dubois. And Dubois comes on here, thank you, Claressa, for pointing out straight facts. Miss Scary Ass Big Dog would rather mess with my scraps and call out a super featherweight. When push comes to shove, Alycia, you expose yourself with your actions and not with your meaningless fake words. Ba-ba-ba-bam. So, hey, yo, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Y'all mean to tell me Dubois made the mistake and aligned herself with the GOAT. Man, please, Hood Champion, here you go again, doing another video on me. You must be obsessed with me. You like me, don't you? You want some of this championship. Negative. The GOAT. We know you with Pepples, brrr. Let me tell you this. Dubois and Shields appear to be aligned in a war of words when it comes to Baumgardner. We know Claressa Shields doesn't like Baumgardner. You know what I mean? She hates Baumgardner. And now Dubois is teamed up with Shields, and they seem to be kind of putting that dynamic duo on her. Now, myself and other fans admit the back and forth is entertaining. But many are starting to ask questions like, yeah, is Dubois making a dangerous move here? Is this really what Dubois wants to be doing by associating so closely with Claressa Shields, whose public image has become increasingly polarizing and toxic? Is this a smart marketing play or long-term mistake? I think it could. I think she needs to get away from Claressa Shields. That's just me. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out if Dubois is naturally built for trash talk, which Claressa says she is, and Dubois is showing that she's got that quality, right? Also trying to understand how Claressa Shields' reputation could impact Dubois' career, and why myself and other fans are wanting Dubois to just be careful. Working so intimately with Claressa Shields and teaming up with her. Because one thing we know is Claressa Shields will turn her back on you. Claressa Shields will turn on you. You align yourself with a controversial figure that can elevate you or destroy your momentum. And right now, Caroline Dubois has all the momentum going. Everyone likes Caroline Dubois. She doesn't need to come out here and make the mistake by hooking up with someone like Claressa, who hurts her career. Now, these social media exchanges involving Claressa Shields, Dubois, Baumgardner, it's really created a wave of attention across boxing. You know what I mean? You look at Twitter, I'm like, damn, boy, everybody's paying attention to this right now. At first glance, it looks exactly what the sport needs, bringing that energy, personality, bringing the rivalry. Dubois stepping into the spotlight with confidence and firing shots is something many fans actually appreciate, because we like the little chippiness from fighters, you know what I'm saying? We know boxing thrives on personality just as much as it does the skill level. The tension between fighters builds intrigue, sells fights, and keeps fans emotionally invested. Now, Caroline Dubois, in particular, she doesn't really appear to be someone who needs help in that department, She always carries herself with confidence, speaks with conviction, clearly has no fear when it comes to engaging with other fighters verbally. She has a lot of confidence. But that kind of natural presence is valuable, It seems really authentic. And fans tend to respond well to fighters who don't feel manufactured, like they're forcing something. And Dubois comes across as someone who can stand on her own 2 feet in any verbal exchange, which makes her alignment with Claressa Shields, man, please, both interesting and concerning to some observers. Because the reality, man, while the back and forth may be entertaining, the reaction from a lot of fans reveal a deeper concern. Now, I wonder what Jake Paul and MVP feel about Dubois kind of hooking up with Claressa Shields. Maybe they like the fact that they're going to give Dubois a lot of attention with her kind of working alongside Claressa Shields in the drama department. Maybe they like the fact that, okay, Baumgardner, Dubois now are being elevated as far as a potential fight, because Claressa Shields has basically the internet on lockdown. But they're not getting 100% of the negative backlash that Claressa receives, but they're kind of benefiting from her attention. So maybe they're cool with it as long as there's a very careful balance on just how much of the Claressa Shields' attention their fighters are receiving. Now, when it comes to Claressa Shields, we got to be real about her, man. We understand what she's done in women's boxing. We know what the history books are going to say about her as a fighter, just as putting the gloves on and getting in the ring. But that public image, man, need I say any more about that public image? Okay, I'm not. But what I'll say is this. Over time, Shields has built a reputation not just for confidence, but for constant conflict, and that distinction matters, especially if you're someone who's building a platform, a promotional platform that's signing these huge deals and has all the momentum in the world going, and now two of your big name fighters find themselves somewhat being attached to this controversial figure who no one wants anything to do with right now, especially with the crap she has going on right now. There's a difference between being a confident champion who promotes fights and being someone who is consistently surrounded by controversy. Some fans now feel that Shields has crossed that line, and there's no going back. Now, whether that perception is fair or not, it has become part of her public identity. You know what I'm saying? It's not Claressa the GOAT Shields, it's Claressa the controversy Shields. Because that's what she is, and that is part of her public identity. It's what she is, man. And that's where the concern for Dubois begins. You know? Even Dubois got to know. I'm sure she had to tell herself, I don't want to be attached to this woman. If somehow I can benefit from the attention she's receiving, although it's negative, but if I can just use the attention more in a positive way to help grow my profile, as long as I'm very intelligent with how I approach this can work out for myself. And this could lead to a big fight with myself and Baumgardner. But all that's good if that's what she's thinking, and I'm not saying that's what she is. I'm just telling you, for me, I'm like, hey, yo, hold your horses. Don't take it to the stupid. Because I'm telling you, Dubois doesn't want her public identity to be what Claressa Shields' public identity has become. In the court of public opinion, association matters. It matters 100%. When you align yourself with someone who divides opinion, you risk inheriting some of that division yourself. Now, for Caroline, who's still building her brand and identity in the sport, this could be a critical moment. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like it. She has the opportunity to define who she is, not just as a fighter, but as a personality that fans either rally behind or push against. It's like having a child. You know what I'm saying? And it's dinner time. You put the child up there at the table, and the child is either going to look at that plate of food you got there, and he may look and get him a little bit of stewed chicken, a little curry, get him a little macaroni pie, a little salad, get him some nice good Trinity Creole food or the East Indian food and shit, Caribbean food. Or you put him up there and stick a peanut butter and jelly in front of his ass. You're going to sit there and be like, oh, hell no. And that's what's happening with Caroline Dubois, man. It's a critical moment. This is where she defines who she is. Is she going to be the person who people see as this lovely, sweet Caroline? Or this simple kind of bullshit common PBJ? Grilled cheese. Nah. She don't want to be the grilled cheese. She don't want to be the PBJ. Give me a nice pot of something that tastes good, not that bullshit. It's a critical moment, man. Possibility of fans see her less as an individual and more as an extension of that controversial energy that Claressa Shields brings to the table. And this is where things can take a turn. And I'm telling you, if I'm noticing it, I'm sure other people are noticing it. And I have seen comments. I'm like, oh, that's what got my, to be honest with you, that's what initially got my attention. I saw a negative comment about, I was reading through yesterday. I should have retweeted it or what is it, screen captured it. I didn't do that. I just was reading and I was like, what the hell? It's because they were like, people were basically talking crap about Caroline Dubois because she seems to be teaming up with Claressa Shields. or Clarissa's co-signing her. And I'm just telling you, in boxing, a villain can sometimes work, but it has to be controlled and intentional. If fans begin to turn on a fighter not because of a rivalry hype, but because of perceived negativity or association with ongoing drama, it can affect everything from fan support to marketability. You know, it's a good example. You look at 50 Cent. You know, he's always going viral for some crazy shit. But look at him right now. He is a villain. He is a villain. But him being a villain works, right? Because what he does is controlled and it's intentional. And in a weird way, he's likable. With Claressa Shields, nothing's controlled, nothing's intentional. She just, at her core, is proven to be someone who many people just feel is just angry and full of drama and toxicity. And it's affected everything in her world, from fan support to marketability. And this is what people don't want to happen to Caroline Dubois. Now, at the same time, there's another side to all of this, okay? Aligning with a high-profile name like Shields does bring visibility, right? That's what I told you. There's some pros and cons to it. It places Dubois directly into major conversations within the sport. It increases engagement, boosts attention, and can accelerate her rise in terms of recognition. This is what she has to play very carefully. In today's digital era, attention is currency, and controversy often generates it faster than anything else. This creates a double-edged sword. On one side, maybe Dubois gains exposure and positions herself as a fearless voice in the division, which is what a lot of people feel already, but it just gets her a little bit more exposure. You know what I'm saying? But then on the other side, she risks being pulled into narratives that she didn't create and may not be able to control, which is all bad. Now, this whole thing with Alycia Baumgardner adds a whole nother layer. Let's be real. Claressa and Baumgardner. I'm going to tell you what I think about. We all adults here, right? I think about Claressa Baumgardner being light-skinned, being biracial. She's half Korean, half black. And she has, I believe she has a decent grade of hair. But when I look at Baumgardner, I just see the type of woman that Claressa Shields has openly made comments about to make me believe she just looks at Baumgardner and just doesn't like her because Baumgardner is who she is. Baumgardner didn't choose to be light-skinned, to be biracial, to have a decent, what most people would consider a decent grade of hair. You gonna hate somebody because of the way God made them? That's just how I take it. Okay? That's how I take it. After listening to Claressa, oh, these light skin and this and that and oh, so pretty and y'all in good hair and all. When I hear that bullshit, I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. And then you look at Baumgardner, well, it kind of makes sense why Claressa would sit back and look at her from across the room and be over there talking to herself. Look at her over there. Yeah, I bet she don't have to. I bet she can eat a whole bag of these Oreo cookies or these Nutter Butters and she won't gain anyway. I think she cute over there with a little curly hair, a little light skin. Look at her. I bet she probably don't even clean her house. Bet that girl. Bet she can't even. Bet she can't. She don't know how to. Bet she don't even know how to cook this fish. You know, I cook that Puerto Rican fish. That's Simone. I bet she can't do this. I bet she can't do that. I bet. That's what you call a hater, people. Has anyone here ever been hated on? Ladies, I know y'all been hated on by other women. For the guys, I know y'all been hated on by other dudes. I'm going to tell you right now, Hood Champion don't have a hating bone in his body. I'm always rooting for the guys to win. I'm like, yo, go get that honey. Go get that money. Get in that gym, build up your body, champ. You know what I'm saying? Get that education. I'm always rooting for people to win. I don't have a hating bone in my body. But I know what it's like to be hated on. And when I sit back and watch this, that's just what I feel like. Claressa just doesn't like. She just doesn't like Baumgardner at all. And it's not because of anything Baumgardner did. I just think she looks at her, has always looked at her, and always disliked her. Baumgardner's built her own brand, man. Confident, stylish, outspoken champion. And let's be real, she looks like a fitness model. I ain't talking about whether I think she's pretty or not, because I don't give a shit about none of that with these ladies. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that is very noticeable about Baumgardner is she has the genetics, man. And then with the discipline, the diet, and the working out, she looks like a fitness model. So her building her own brand and being so outspoken and confident, you know what I mean? People will notice her. And see, when multiple strong personalities collide, it naturally creates compelling drama. But it also raises the stakes in terms of how each fighter is perceived. Especially when you got a controversial figure like Claressa Shields has done everything right to make people dislike her. She says talks shit about race, about gender. She talks shit about it. She has something to say about everything. What she has, what people don't have, broke bums, this and that. And by the way, I didn't know this. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about here, but I'm going to just throw this out here real quick. I had no idea Claressa Shields and her boyfriend at the time had given Rolly a ride to some boxing tournament because he had missed the shuttle. And while Rolly was in the car, she was insulting him and calling him names and saying basically that he's a bum and all this shit and he ain't going to do nothing with his career. And then fast forward a few years, Rolly was doing his things in the pros, and she didn't remember him. And she went up there trying to shake his hand and trying to, like she was, some fucking superstar. And he was like, we met before. And she was like, where? He was like, remember, I'm that guy who was in the van. And he said she just, like she had that deer in the headlight look. And she just walked off. So that's why she talked shit about Rolly. She talked shit about him when she first met him. Didn't know anything about him. This was back in the amateurs. Her boyfriend was giving him a ride, and Claressa came in the car, like, insulting Rolly. Then fast forward like 4 years later, she tried to go out there and talk to him and introduce herself. She had forgot he was the guy in the car she insulted. So he was basically saying, what I took from that is she's always been an asshole. So with this shit about Baumgardner and Claressa, don't nobody feel sorry for Claressa Shields, man. Nobody. Because when Rolly told that story, I said, damn. Fans can pick sides. And once that happened, narratives can spiral quickly. But for me, I'll never be on Claressa Shields' side. I'll be fair to her, because that's just my style. But I can't get on her side, man. She got a lot of work to do for people. And this shit about her and Dubois, I just hate seeing Dubois' name attached to Claressa. I just hate seeing that. But it is what it is. But I'll tell you this. Historically, attaching yourself to a controversial figure in any industry, whether sports, entertainment, or business, has always carried both risk and reward. Some individuals benefit from the association, gaining visibility and influence. Others find themselves overshadowed, or worse, pulled into negative narratives that damage their own reputation. That is what could happen to Dubois by aligning herself with Claressa Shields. She has to be careful. And I'm going to say this again for Dubois. The key will be maintaining her individuality. If she continues to show that she can speak for herself, think independently, and control her own narrative, she can benefit from the attention without being consumed by it. But if the public begins to view her as simply aligned with Shields, let me tell you something. If she's simply aligned with Shields' approach to conflict, the long-term consequences could outweigh the short-term gains. And I'm telling you as a fact. And you know what I really hope Dubois does not do? I hope I don't hear her use the N-word. I hope I don't hear her start talking about these hoes and they bums. I hope she doesn't start speaking like that. I hope she don't start saying, oh, look, Boom, boom. All right, yo, boom. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Word. Oh, they bugging. Boom. All right, yo, here. Boom. Are you dumb? Boom. Man, please. Pat, pat, boom, pat, pat. Brrr. I hope she doesn't start doing all that bullshit. Because I am telling you, that's the worst decision she can make, is to start speaking gloaty, eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch. She can't become a gloaty. Caroline Dubois, if you're watching this video, my name is Hood Champion, the people's voice. And for women's boxing, I respect all the ladies. Ladies! But I am telling you, don't eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Stay away from the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That shit's worse than crack. All the gloaties eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Caroline Dubois, don't touch it. You're beautiful the way you are. Your personality is beautiful. The way you fight is outstanding. You don't need to get caught up in Claressa Shields' bullshit. You and Baumgardner can go back and forth. You're just fine. You don't need Claressa to co-sign. Don't sit there and get caught up in that damn hype. Long-term consequences could outweigh the short-term games. Hold your horses and don't take it to the stupid. But at the end of the day, and ultimately, this moment feels like a crossroads. Not just for the rivalry, but how Caroline Dubois will be perceived moving forward in her career. She has all the tools to become a major star in women's boxing. She's already one of the major stars. The question is whether she'll carve her own path or get pulled into someone else's storm, a shit storm, the Claressa Shields gloat storm, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch storm, the gloaty storm, the man please, pap, 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 brr, 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 storm. And the last thing we need to hear is that she somehow broke loose from Jake Paul and MVP and went and signed to Win Records and Demetrius Salita. To that I would say, in the most respectful way, hey yo, hold your horses. Somebody took it to the stupid, and it wasn't Hood Champion. That being said, Shields and Dubois team up on Baumgardner. Hood Champion had to talk about it. Y'all keep cool in the breeze.